Hello, and thank you for watching this weekly Ag Weather Update, brought to you by AgCarolina Farm Credit. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I'm a Senior Atmospheric Scientist and co-founder of Agrable Incorporated, and I serve as the Director for Undergraduate Studies in Atmospheric Science at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. Well, I want to start with two maps here. The map on the left shows you temperature anomalies so far through the month of August, and the map on the right shows you the last 14 days of precipitation expressed as a percent of normal. And what I want to focus in on is the map on the right first, because it has been extremely wet. We have seen multiple rounds of precipitation coming through, a lot of thunderstorms, many of which have been severe, and it's really had an impact on agriculture in the Carolinas. And we can see here that some locations are well over 200% of average on rainfall, and this has certainly limited field work, and this is also causing some issues with the quality of the 2018 crops grown in the states. When you look over here on the left-hand side, we can also see that with the cloud cover, with the precipitation, and with the upper level troughs that keep coming through, we've seen near average to cooler than average temperatures. So in this video, we got to give you that all-important update over the next 2 weeks. Look at some of the bigger features that we're going to have to be paying attention to that are going to impact weather across the Carolinas. Let's start off first with an animation showing you what the satellites saw on the day on Sunday. And the major feature we're going to have to watch for the beginning of this week is going to be this upper level low that's cut off here, kind of over the eastern Corn Belt, just north of North Carolina. And that feature is going to slowly exit to the north and east. And as it's doing so, on Sunday, then again on Monday, we're going to be seeing chances for showers and storms. And look at the storms blow up here across North and South Carolina on Sunday evening. Now, if you look a little bit west of there, another feature you're going to have to pay attention to, which will be a player for your weather next weekend, is this upper level low that's sitting over Texas. It's actually going to combine with the feature coming out of Montana to eventually give us our next chance of storms over here in the southeast. So we have storms to start the week, could be a quiet middle part of the week, and then storms to watch it again at the end of the week. And of course, as I'm sure you've been watching carefully and seeing this on the news and watching the weather, we have quite a bit of smoke that you can see here. I mean, look at this. The fires erupting over here as it gets to the end of this animation in California. Watch it again right over here. There they are, those horrific fires. But look at the smoke across much of the country. We even have fires in Canada bringing smoke all the way through the North Central Plains to the Great Lakes states. And if you notice all the haziness down here, like in the Gulf of Mexico, see that? That's actually dust from the Sahara Desert. We got to talk about that too. So there's a lot going on. Let's dig into this. First things first, last 72 hours, we have seen some incredibly heavy downpours out of our thunderstorms that have come through. The map on the left shows you that some of those storms put down better than 5 to 6 inches of rain as we get over here toward the North Carolina coast. We were also watching late in the night and early in the morning on Monday, this band of showers and storms moving from the southwest to the northeast. They're training, which means they're following one another, and that is a recipe for flash flooding. So we're watching that across this area, or maybe you're watching this early in the morning because you couldn't get much sleep due to all the lightning and thunder in some of these storms. So this is what things look like going into this forecast, and the culprit is right here. Here's the upper level trough sitting here kind of over the mid-Atlantic, getting up toward the northeast that we're dealing with. And it is, as it sits here and spins, it is certainly lifting the air, giving us chances for showers and thunderstorms over the weekend and then to start this week. And there's a great kind of funnel of moisture coming right in through this area that we're going to contend with early in the day on Monday. So let me show it to you from a little bit different perspective. You see, in atmospheric sciences, we like to look at these maps. They're called vorticity maps. They show us spin in the atmosphere. And wherever we see positive vorticity, and that's what's color-coded, that tells us where we could get lift in the atmosphere. Whenever we get lift, we get showers, thunderstorms, and inclement weather. Okay, with that little primer, here is the trough we're dealing with. See it here? Now, as we animate this, we're going to see that trough by the time we get into the day on Tuesday. Finally, Tuesday night into Wednesday, exiting the East Coast. So see me kind of going back and forth here? It's going to get out of there by Wednesday morning. That means showers and thunderstorms Monday and possibly again on Tuesday in North Carolina. Now, if I step back, the next system you have to watch is right here in the center plains. You see it moves over toward Illinois, and then watch what happens with this one and this trough sitting here over Montana. As I go forward, see how they both sweep here into the Great Lakes? That's important because as that happens, this could be bringing a band of vorticity through the Carolinas, giving us our next chance for showers and storms. So again, starting off the week wet and stormy, middle of the week possibly just normal summer weather, so highs in the lower 90s, but maybe some quieter weather. And then toward the end of the week, about the time I'm making your next video, we're going to be watching this next system come through. So nothing right now is slowing this whole progression of troughs down that keep bringing both cooler weather and unsettled weather. Yes, you're going to get some reprieve from it here in the middle part of this week, but certainly it's going to remain active. So let's kind of show you that short term first, and we'll look longer term precipitation. Here are the storms overnight on basically getting into early Monday morning. Watch them kind of exit out over here. Now what you'll see is general scattered showers and thunderstorms in the day on Tuesday. That's what we're watching right now. So you can see them kind of popping up here. But by Wednesday, that system moves far enough off to the north and east, things clear out. And we're in between systems, and higher atmospheric pressure tries to build in. Now, because of that, we kind of reduce our risk of thunderstorms middle of the week this week. So to show you this from our European model, this is going to show you total accumulated precipitation from Sunday into Monday. So that's why this looks so wet right now. These storms moved offshore overnight on Sunday night, early Monday morning. And here we go with the animation. Let me pause it right there. You see, beyond the start of the week and you get through the middle of the week here, notice how we're not accumulating much more precipitation in the Carolinas. I'm kind of going back and forth there, and you're not seeing much added. That's the quieter time period we're going to see midweek this week. But notice what's coming up right in here into the middle part of the country. That's the trough we're watching. And as it teams up with this second one coming here out of North and South Dakota, well, that's what toward the end of the week is going to be moving over toward the Carolinas, giving us our chances of showers and storms as we enter next weekend. So again, stormy to start the week, quiet middle of the week, ending up the week, chances again of more showers and storms. And that's why when we put this all together, watch these next four systems I'm going to pay attention to. Here's the first one. That's what's keeping you wet on Monday, really overnight Sunday into Monday morning, and possibly again on Tuesday with some scattered showers and storms. Second system comes out of Texas, teams up with the third system on Friday, and as they go sweeping up to the north of North and South Carolina, that's where we might get some showers and storms. We are watching another one coming out of the Rockies to start next week, and going to have to pay attention to that one too. My point, the pattern's active, but it looks as though we might again get some reprieve from the stormy pattern middle of the week this week. That's why overall you're seeing through parts of the Carolinas a drier bias, thanks to some higher atmospheric pressure, complements of the Bermuda high that'll sit off over here. But I want you to see this. Now, you also need to watch or see this particular part of the video in the context of some big crops that are grown in the Carolinas, specifically corn and soybeans. Because look at the primary corn and soybean belt there, stretching from Indiana over through Iowa, Illinois, getting up in the Dakotas and Nebraska and southern Minnesota. That region, which needs the rain, will be getting it. And that means the corn crop will continue to finish well, and the bean crop is going to get a desperately needed drink in some parts of the Corn Belt. So we're just kind of doing a kind of a comparison to other parts in the country with some of the crops grown in North Carolina. All right, when it comes to temperatures, let's talk about what this pattern is going to give us. You see, as I animate this out, can you kind of just blur your eyes and watch it with me? These are temperature anomalies. Because of the inclement weather we're dealing with that trough, we're going to start off the week right in here. Look at this, a slight cool bias. But as I animate this out, look at kind of the ride you're going to go on here. Did you notice that? I'm just going to let it play. We kind of go up, down, up, down, up, down. Notice we didn't see too much in terms of extreme temperatures. Will you return toward the mid-90s, in the middle of this week? Yes, you will. But we're going to have another shot at some cooler air coming in. And that's why if we kind of look at this a little bit differently here, okay, after we watch this play out again, see it? If we kind of average this out into 5-day chunks, the next 5 days carries, well, right on smack dab average normal temperatures. The ridge will be way up here in the north central plains, hence the heat. The trough coming out of Texas keeps things cool there. But you can see here, North and South Carolina, near average temperatures through the week. Once you get past that, we do see that the 5 days that follow this upcoming Friday, so this is the start of next week, we again see normal temperatures, maybe a slight warm bias. But I want to talk about what to expect as we get to the end of this month. So here we go. Looking longer term, remember last week I told you model performance right now is low. Predictability is low. We can be looking for some bigger things that might influence the rest of our weather toward the end of this month. One of which is what goes on right here. This is kind of the primary area we watch for El Nino or La Nina. We have neither right now. We do have to watch this thing called the Southern Oscillation Index, which kind of tells us how strong the atmospheric circulation is over the Pacific Ocean. And right now it's going more toward an El Nino-like pattern, but that's has a very, very low correlation with North Carolina weather this time of year. What we have to pay attention to is the tropics. And right now, the Madden-Julian Oscillation, that's an important oscillation that we like to watch, is going toward its null phase. Therefore, it means that maybe the tropics are not necessarily going to be more active than normal. We'll also have to watch that Saharan dust. But the big features I want you to listen to me talk about here as we get to the end of this video are these two patterns called the PNA, that's the Pacific North American pattern, and the EPO, that's the East Pacific Oscillation. Now, why talk about them? Well, our weather is really set up west of the United States. And what we're going to be seeing here is that the Pacific North American pattern goes back into a ridge by the time we get into mid-August out west. It then goes back towards zero, which means we lose predictability of it beyond there. But the East Pacific Oscillation is actually showing a very similar thing. It's going to go very positive here, and then it shows for quite some time going below average. Now, what does that mean? As it goes below average, that basically means that there is nothing at this point that really tells me to tell you in the southeast to be on the lookout for extreme heat or drought. And this is what I mean. If this is going to be the pattern setting up, well, that features a big ridge in the Gulf of Alaska, a big ridge kind of encroaching on the Pacific Northwest, and overall a broader trough across the Corn Belt and across the southeast. So it could be one of these situations where there's warmth, maybe in the northeast, warmth certainly out west where the fires are going, but overall, maybe the pattern we've seen recently is going to hang on for a little while. I want to finish this video with a quick discussion about what's going on in the tropics. Couple of things. Where are we in the season? Well, this distribution of tropical cyclones, we are right about here, okay? So we still have the bulk of the tropical season ahead of us, but it has been very inactive up to this point. We discussed why last time. See the cooler waters in the main development region? See the high wind shear in reds in the main development region, also in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico? That shuts them down. And we've been dealing with quite a bit of dust. And here's our forecast for more Saharan dust over the next 5 days. So you can see another big plume is forecast to come off there, maybe around the 17th or 18th. This means any would-be tropical system is going to have to chew on that dust, which could limit its potential. Now, I know that was a lot to focus on in this video, but we give you these weekly updates with a lot of content so that you can understand how weather will be affecting agriculture in the Carolinas. But with that, I'm going to go and wrap up this forecast video. We at AgCarolina thank you for your attention. Hope you look forward to our next video coming out next week. Thank you.